Hi, everybody. Welcome to this Share Your Wisdom session with engineering leaders. And today I am thrilled to have my friend for a long time and a technology expert, Mohit Tornala. Mohit, welcome to this session, and then thank you for being a part of this conversation today.
Thank you, Gopi. Thank you for this opportunity to share wisdom and knowledge and experience with you. And it's always a great pleasure to share and um, things what happens in the engineering world. It's a great thing to be here, and it's a pleasure to be here with you.
And just to share Mohit's background, Mohit has been a technology expert for over 2 decades now, and his proficiency is in Microsoft technologies, you name it, from the initial .NET days to all the cloud technologies. He has been spearheading various initiatives and leading technology teams in multiple countries. He has worked and played key responsibilities on key initiatives in companies like Pfizer, Broadridge, and ADP. And then today, I'm so excited to ask him what are the challenges that engineering leaders have been facing as we are all transitioning from the COVID to what we call as future of work. So Mohit, let me jump in by asking, as companies are still going through the remote hybrid phase, what are the biggest challenges engineering leaders are facing to meet the business objectives and to deliver the projects that they are accountable for?
Gopi, the biggest challenge after this post-COVID uh, um, time is getting people back to the normal coming to office on a regular schedule. That has always been a challenge to get the team come to office and work as a team like pre-COVID season or pre-COVID times, I would say. So uh, just before, just when COVID started, and when we got notification from our head office that we will be working remotely, it disturbed a lot of people. Like, hey, this working from office, so we get to meet people and collaboration and all those things have been traditional for years. And suddenly, when we started working from home completely 5 days a week, uh, initially it was little time. It took time to adjust because they uh, like to work from home. Some people are not used to working from home when nobody is there at home. Everybody has got, and at the same time, because of the COVID, there are family members also working along with you, and seeing them at all the time was also a challenge with, especially when employees had young children. But then once the COVID pandemic ended and we wanted people to come back to office, it's already been like more than a year and a half, 2 years working from home. As you know, human psychology is that you adapt for a period of time, and change would be is not easy for a human psychology. So we had the challenge bringing them back to office, and some of them were very few of them were very interested to come back or enthusiastic to come back. Some of them had to adjust their uh, work life balance, especially with family and children. So that was the biggest challenge, to get people back. We're still struggling, but I think we are in a good spot right now. Like, people are showing up back in offices.
Understand, Mohit. And as everybody's going through this transition, what are some of the key tips you would share which has helped you or which would help engineering leadership to keep the bond with the team, increase their rapport, and also motivate them towards ensuring productivity and efficiency?
One of the things which I have personally have done and my colleagues have done in my and my level has been that to be available for every level at every team meetings, every even though you're not required to be there, we made sure that we are always being available and attend all possible meetings. Not that we wanted to do micromanage or like see who is coming, who's not coming, who's con. It's not about that, but to set an example that hey, the example starts from higher up. Like we bought. I mean, our senior leaders came first to the office before before any of the employees have been told to come to the office. Once the senior leadership started coming to office, then after few weeks, then they trickle down to the next level and the next level and the next level. So it was important for the leaders and managers and mid-level managers to be able to be available, attend all the sessions, and like not just attend. It's like you are actually there, video call, like you as if you are actually present. So that made them like hey, there's some going on. It is more motivating to come to office and talk in person to person, um, and inspire others to come to the office, so that there is a lot more activity and fun and collaborate, and just for a change as well. Like staying in a home for 2 long years was not an easy thing for anybody to just work from home. So there is a place to come out, and that actually was the key for our leaders and also our managers.
Understand. And as leaders stretch to maintain their leadership in inspiring, motivating the team members towards meeting objectives, what do you see as some of the key points to draw a fine line between flexibility, understanding, empathy, and also, hey, at the end of the day, meeting the objectives where the empathy is not taken for granted?
So the team, I would say it starts with trust, right? Um, we it's not more of like taking for granted or empathy. It's about trusting. A lot of factors comes into that trusting. The number of years the employees have been with the company, the knowledge they have, and the easy to work. So it depends on person to person. But at this, as a leaders and managers at my level, at least, we have our employees your team members first. That's number one thing. Um, but it comes with a cost. Sometimes things don't happen the way you expect. That's when your leadership comes into picture, that you are taking the risks of um, falling not up the mark. And yeah, I mean, empathy and yeah, see, as I said, like coming back from working from home environment for such a long time, and tell employees to start working from Monday to come to office, it's going to be it's not going to be an easy change for anybody. I'll take my example itself. Like it took me some time to adjust quickly to be able to work from office and adapt, like the way it used to be. So you have to give some flexibility in there. Flexibility is time. Time is the essence. Some people take quickly. Some people are very eager to come back. Some people need time to adjust to their family needs. But at the end of the day, your team members will deliver. Those have been there with you for in good times and in difficult times during project deliveries. So you have to trust that they will turn around at some point of time.
Right. Very good points. And moving on to the segment, Mohit, where people are growing in their careers, transitioning from a, a mid to senior role and a senior to a principal role. What are some of the tips you would give them how to transition from a tech lead to an engineering manager role during this uncertain times, wherein there is no things like formal training and then formal performance appraisal. There are several things like that which are yet to come back to place. So, in that situation, what are some of the tips you have for people transitioning higher up in their career?
So a person who is transitioning from an engineering role to a early management role, that's where the most crucial part is. That's where you learn a lot of leadership skills. Obviously, you'll have a lot of patience and perseverance, and that's when you will be tested from from frustration or not getting things happen the way you would expect things, or not happening the way you would work on those engineering tasks exactly. So that's the most challenging or crucial period for a person who is transitioning from a technical role to a managerial role. If you sustain that, you learn those leadership skills. That's the most crucial time when a person learns the leadership role and gains a lot of wisdom and how to work with people. The only thing I would suggest at that point is to have patience. Mistakes will happen. Um, Take it on the face, and you judge. I mean, you should judge your risk. Like how much risk can you take, especially on projects. If you are not sure about it, you may want to buffer some additional time for yourself to deliver, just so that you to and face those situations, unexpected situations, where things don't happen on time. Could be somebody is sick, or some things did not go well, or somebody is not left the team. You need to choose quickly. So there are lots of things at that stage. A person who is going higher up in the management, who is already in the management, would probably be not that difficult in terms of the people skills, I would say. But what I would say at that stage is with technologies, what's happening in the market, where the team will have to be taken the direction, what new technologies we should be focusing on, or at least the team should be trained on. Those things would come into picture at that higher up level.
Understand. And for somebody who is been transitioning from 100% technology role to a role where there are business objectives that have to be like met and things like that, what are the key parameters you suggest that a person should equip himself or ask the business side to apprise him of, or to share with him, or to involve him in their weekly or monthly meeting, so that it provides him the opportunity, or him or her the opportunity, to understand the business side of the things which then translate to the technology side of the things, whether it's picking the right technology or build versus buy or anything like that.
Good question, Gopi. So the person who's transitioning from a tech role to a managerial role, right? Uh, Bottom line in one word is you have to be a jack of all trades. What that means is that if there is a need to, like, roll up your sleeves and uh, do some code, just because there is nobody available, you should be able to do play that role when in your transitioning phase. At the same time, you also should be prepared to wear like a managerial hat and manage resources and take on more. I mean, that's a crucial period where you will be tested tested over and over and again. One thing I would say is don't be afraid of failures. Only failures will how to teach you how to get over it, and then try things not to happen again. So don't be afraid of failures. Failures will happen, mistakes will happen, and it is just a stepping stone for you as a transitioning leader or a transitioning manager, whatever the role you are stepping into. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. Do with full conviction you're doing the right thing for the team, right thing for the business, and right thing for everybody, all the stakeholders. And this is what I believe, that this is what we need to do. And be brave and put your thoughts and plan in front of the table, and be open to comments, feedback from anybody, whether it is from your senior or from the junior developer or anybody within your team. Be open to suggestion, have a open door policy, so
Very
that
nice.
you are able to take suggestions, feedback, and that's only going to improve you to become a
Yes.
better leader. It's not anybody else, it's for you. If you are open to that, then you will quickly climb up the ladder in a relatively short period of time. Obviously, there's no cakewalk. There will be failures, and you face them, and then you will be a successful leader.
Very nice, Mohit. Thank you for sharing that. Now, also, as somebody transitions from a lead to a manager, there's also change in his phase of life and age. So at that point of time, as somebody is progressing through that career shift, age shift, phase of life shift, what do you suggest as some of the things that he should be cognizant of in terms of his competing with Gen Z, who have more energy and who are sharper and who are coming in with different expectations, not just technology wise, but also expectations wise. Uh, but to simplify, how should a transitioning or progressing technologist should compete in a healthy way with the Gen Z to continue adding value and to be acknowledged and rewarded for his performance?
Very good question. This is something that a lot of people are going through, like me as well. One word I would say is empowerment. The new generation or the current generation who is coming up have a lot more ideas, a lot more creative ideas, and everybody is thinking out of the box, coming up with, and technology is changing so rapidly. So one word is I would stress on is empowerment. And as as a transitioning leader, and at the same time you want your feet in the water, you want to give them the opportunity to explore and do different things. And I mean, obviously there will be some things which is out of the way, but you never know what comes out of it, like how they think, how the new generation thinks. You have to, as a leader, you have to take that much risk, not a risk, I would say leverage, for them to be able to do their own way. And there could possibly be more efficient processes out of it, which we have been doing the same things over and over for years. They might do the relatively short period of time using the latest technologies. So I would stress on the point that, giving more empowerment and let them do what they are doing. At the same time, just guiding with the experience and wisdom you have developed over the years. Just giving them that, hey, if you do things, this might go this way or this might go wrong, but just be careful. So if you give those kinds of hints and tips and what possibilities could go wrong, they will keep those things in mind and come up with a solution which works out more efficient, more faster, and it's a win-win situation at that point.
Understand. Great points, Mohit. And as we all are transitioning to 2023, and there are several disruptions with things like cloud, AI, and things like that. So, what do you foresee as a future of work with respect to what skills are important and relevant, and versus what are those kind of skills which are not as relevant or important as of this day, so that people who are not just starting their career but also going from the fresh uh, uh, out of the box, sorry, from starting from college to going in their career, some of the skills and attitude that they should keep in mind to be relevant to a progressing world and future of work.
So Gopi, I think for those who are just graduating or coming into this IT field, one thing I would say is there are so many technologies, so many opportunities, so many avenues, and sometimes it's overwhelming what is right and what is and which is which one to pick. So most people make the mistake of oh, if I go into cloud, I will get so much salary, or that's the most common thing which most people go by, which is like, okay, which software or which technology is currently very popular, which is more rewarding in terms of money. That's where most people are going. If everybody goes there, there are other techniques as well. So what I would say is, like, I won't say which this is right or this is wrong. One thing I would strongly tell everyone is to follow your passion. If you want to be in computer science and in the IT field, there are so many things available. What interests you? What makes you inspired or interesting to come to the workplace and do that over and over again? Just follow that. I wouldn't recommend, I would not encourage people to go after the money factor. Money will come irrespective of which, as long as you're doing great and you are very good at what you're doing. It could be cloud, it could be AI, it could be something new is coming, like Chat GPT is coming. Recently I heard in news about, or even gaming, graphics. um, so many things are there. If something interests you, and use those technologies to your advantage and with your passion, follow that, and you'll be successful. Whether making money should not be the only factor. You should be also be enjoy what you're doing day to day.
Right, very nice, helpful tips, Mohit. Also, as a coming back to the engineering manager who deals with, hey, the combination of technology and also making technology decisions and also people decisions, and then uh, with so many things changing, any things you suggest towards self-care for a senior engineering leader to keep in mind, to be cognizant of?
That's a good question, Gopi, because in current markets is not doing well. If you look at there are so many jobs. Every Fortune 500 company, there are some job losses, and inflation is going high, and there are recession fears going around. The only thing is to take care of yourself. What that means is, as long as you are on top of the things in the area of the field, or whether you are in cloud as a cloud developer or a practitioner or even an architect, whatever field you are, keep doing what you're doing and always keep up to date. Um, that that nobody can take away that from anyone, even if, if somebody loses a job, because not because of you're doing wrong or you're not delivering. It's just because the business is that way, and the whole market is that way. It's not about you. It's so nobody is going to take care of you except for you. So invest in you, learn, keep the up to date technologies, learn new things, follow your passion, obviously, which is most important. I tell all the newcomers who join our company is that, hey, are you really interested in the database, or are you interested in front end? What is your interest? I try to find out what is their passion, because sometimes at that age you don't know what your passion is. That's one of the difficult things. They have a passion, but sometimes they'll not be able to figure out, oh, I like this, I like that, I like this also, but I don't know, sometimes I like this. So it's also, as a leader, as a manager, it's also important that has a slight responsibility, I would say, to be able to have one of those discussions with your team members and try to find out, like, what passion, what their passion is, hobbies are. Hopefully you will find what is the best fit for them, and suggest those areas, so that it might be easier for them to make up that decision for them.
All right, wonderful. And as we are concluding uh, this panel, Mohit, and I appreciate all the valuable insights that you gave. With the economy, how it looks like, with the market conditions, how it looks like, engineering managers are further accountable to deliver more with leaner teams, shrink budgets as such. So, what do you suggest to engineering managers this year to keep in mind, so that, hey, that they still deliver with leaner budgets and then leaner teams?
So this I think this problem is going on in every company right now, with team shrinking and job losses, and yet it is expected to deliver. So the first thing is, you do your best. Obviously, you will be expected to do more than what you have been doing. You do your best, not that breaking point that you will do, but what I would suggest is, what else you can take, and then be able to be voluntarily take up things. Apart from that, from a engineering leaders wise, obviously, with a resource shortage, whether it is number of people or tools or whatever it is, with all the shrink budgets, obviously you cannot do all the projects in hand. So as a leader, that's when your communication skills and your convincing skills will come into picture, where you will reprioritize the projects. Hey, there are 20 projects we need to do, which is active projects. What are the things which you think that, are revenue generating or high priority, or strategic point, from a strategic point of view, which is very important for the team and for the company. So you would have to have those negotiations with the business team and reprioritize what's most important. I would not say that what's not important take off the list, but it will go back into the like low priority or a backlog list. And when things change, who knows? In the next summer, or things might change, and then uh, market starts coming back. You may rehire and then get those projects back into active projects. So one of those things, as a leader, as a manager, I said that this is where your communication skills, negotiation skills will come into picture, and we get an opportunity to be able to tell and be transparent, like what can we do, what can we deliver, and what are the risks involved. Being open to the business teams as well as your own engineering team, and expecting more from them as well. So that's one thing I would say. Yeah.
Understand. And as a part of the same situation, Mohit, quite a few engineering managers are also in that sensitive situation where they are told to, hey, cut your team size by this much percentage because of the shrinked budget and things like that. So in that unfortunate situation, what do you suggest to engineering managers? Hey, how to communicate to the team that, hey, that their position may no longer be there, and then it's still okay that, hey, they did their best, and then how can they make their experience any better during their unfortunate situation of having to like transition out of the company?
Yeah. So one thing is that nobody is indispensable, right? Yeah. So that everybody has to know, or at least it's understood that everybody is indispensable. And as a team leader or engineering manager, leading a team, one thing I've been doing very clearly with everybody is that being trans how things are. I mean, whether shrinking budget, hey, we have 20% less budget than last year, and expect less, or sometimes some cuts. It could be anything. It could be your bonus cut, or it could be some, like, it could be some people maybe leaving. So being open and uh, communication, not that you specifically pointing out to somebody else, or uh, um, open to I mean, same for everyone, like, that communication, being a transparent communication with everybody. So it's, as an individual, you are responsible for yourself at the end of the day. So what that means is that, okay, looks like there is 20% cut in the budget. To reach that goal, obviously there might be some people going out. So that's something, a message you don't have to give directly, but it is something that you're giving a message, telling them that there is a possibility that this might happen. So as an individual, you know that this is coming, and you have to be responsible for yourself. I tell, obviously nobody wants to be like, be biased to somebody, or or somebody's making so much money, why. It's not about that. At the end of the day, we'll see that, how can we minimize the impact to the team without having to jeopardize any of the projects work or the morale of the team. Keep that minimum impact to the team.
Understand. And then on the flip side, Mohit, there are some managers who are also right now facing a different challenge, where in the midst of this layoffs, they are having to hire people, and then with inundated job applications and things like that, they could be facing a different challenge of having to shortlist and hire the right people. So what do you suggest to those managers as to how to possibly shorten their hiring cycle, and then how to possibly filter the A players from a larger bunch in that situation?
So this is a big challenge to a lot of managers, especially hiring managers, to find the right candidate for the role you're looking for. Obviously, you will not find 100% fit for the role, and there will have to be some flexibility from both sides, from the company side as well as from the person who is getting hired, to be able to be open to learn new things and willing to do few things outside of his comfort zone. At the same time, the company is willing to give some flexibility to and time. Basically, time is the essence, right? For the new hires to be able to give some time to be able to learn. So, having said that, to minimize the hiring cycle when we need resources, obviously we look for, like, certifications. At least that gives an edge over at least the first filter. um, and the background of education, like, say we look for sometimes the where did the person graduate from, did he graduate. It's not about what area or what major you have done. It's not about that. It just tells us that this person has consistently went 4 years to college and completed, and they knows the importance of, like, being there. So that is a very crucial parameter. I wouldn't say crucial, but that is one of the parameter which will tell more about the candidate, that hey, it does mean that, it's not just like learn, finish, and go. It's not like that. Like, to finish graduation, you are consistently went for 4 years, and it doesn't depend on what major you have done. Obviously, I told the certifications plays a role. Second thing is past experience, like, background is in financial, in, or, like, in a health, whatever the area of field you're looking for, does that have a relative experience. So even before the candidate it comes for an interview, there's a lot of things which goes through the process, which gives an edge already. Like, if you have those um, up your kitty, that you have a degree, you have worked on this area, you are certified in this, those make a difference. So, and it reduces the short cycle, of hiring cycle.
Understand. And then that actually makes me ask one last question, and I'm getting these valuable insights. I really appreciate that. In a set of, like, hey, hundreds of applications, and whether a hiring manager or a HR team, or even before it comes to HR team, a technology ATS system which just filters resumes based on some keywords or things like that. What are your suggestions for real talented people have the experience, have invested time to stand out from the crowd visually, or putting some specific details what the others cannot afford to put? What are those few things which you say would be helpful for them to stand out, so that the hiring manager or the HR or the technology system, within 3 second time, they get their view, and then hopefully make the cut to be called for an interview?
So, Gopi, the experienced hiring managers can easily detect whether it's a real or a fake resume within a couple of minutes of the first page itself. So the first impression is your resume. How much um, can you attract a hiring manager within the first 2 to 5 minutes of somebody looking at your resume? Some resumes are long, some resumes are very short. There's no right or wrong. I have hired a developer back in my previous company who had half a page of resume, but technically he was super excellent or like, par excellence. But so does not uh, does not fully like, show you what you are. But for manager, like, be able to get attracted in the first two, you have to be able to attract, like, uh, get that edge within the first 2 minutes of reading a resume. The second thing is your communication skills. I tell a lot of people, like, communication skills are so important when you're going for an interview. Especially the first step in the process is like, HR looks at your resume and then okay, there is something promising in this resume, let me give a call and see what he is. Within that next few minutes, you have to be able to talk about the areas of expertise we are looking for in a very concise, and be able to be very specific within the short period of time. These two are the key points. And once you get to the hiring manager, and then like, that, then you get the more time to be able to interview you, and more time to be able to judge, like, your expertise, and share more. So the first few minutes of it are the crucial. First, to having to be able to grasp your resume, and the second one is your first call with your HR manager to be able to explain those keywords, like, hey, I'm a DBA database expert. Okay, what you have done? Hey, I've done created packages, I have created triggers, I have created a database with tables, everything, and I also did data migration. Those are the key points. How soon can you tell a hiring manager or non-technical person that, hey, this guy has something to, he has done, he has some uh, thing which he can contribute to our company.
Very important points. And as we review, we had covered things from engineering managers, challenges transitioning through the COVID, and managing the expectations of business, and being empathetic to the team members. And while transitioning through the difficult times, you shared that they still got to be themselves, doing their best, and then uh, progressing forward by focusing on what's the new skills are required, and also understand the business side of it, while ensuring that they take care of themselves from the burnout. And you also gave suggestions for uh, freshers, fresh graduates, how to progress further, what to focus on, and then how to follow their passion. And then you also suggested to experienced people how to manage shrinking budgets and leading teams. And also, lastly, the important point of how resumes, the length of them don't matter much. It's all about, hey, even sometimes half-page resumes with some good communication skills matter. And those 3 minutes of a conversation would matter in terms of how an experienced person would differentiate whether somebody has a real experience or not. So many valuable inputs. I am positive that the engineering community would grasp them and then benefit immensely to progress forward in their career. Mohit, thank you so very much. And then I'd be, hey, approaching you again as in how the industry is going through several disruptions to gain more wisdom and then propagate to the engineering community. So Mohit, thank you very much. I really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you, Gopi, for this opportunity to share. And I'm happy to be talking to you. And anytime in the, I'll be more than happy to share more insights.
All right. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.